All right. The gate was 7 million. Attendance 17,741. Fight of the night, no shocker. Blaydes and Hokit. Performance of the night, Hokit and Ulberg. Who's got the first question?
Hello. First of all, crazy card, crazy night of fights. We'll start with the main event. It looked like Jiri had it in the bag. Carlos is on one leg, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, this sport can still surprise us. Give us your reaction to
Crazy. The fight was over. I mean, but I guess it ain't over till it's over. Incredible comeback win. Yeah, and we don't know 100%, but you saw he was kicking that front leg, and the front leg was bothering him, and then all of a sudden the back leg hurts. Could be an ACL.
Yeah, that would suck for him, right? If did Jiri in the cage said that he saw the leg injury and then almost felt like a sense of mercy towards Carlos. Did you feel like he kind of took his foot off the gas when he saw Carlos was hurt?
Well, I didn't necessarily feel it, but some people were saying to me he was goofing around and he was doing this and that, but, yeah, I mean, when you got a guy hurt, you got to finish him till the ref jumps in and stops it, so.
Yeah. There are quite a lot of people in the world who are not a big fan of Josh Hokit's shtick.
Yeah,
but when you go
I'm one of them.
When you go out and fight like that, though, it kind of makes the character stuff irrelevant, and he put on an insane...
He walked the talk tonight, you know what I mean? When people come out and say stupid shit and have sort of a shtick, it's not my thing. But nothing but respect for both of those men tonight in that fight. It was unbelievable, and yeah, you won't hear a word out of me from here on out about him. He like I said, he walked the talk, so.
Can you explain how...
It's one thing to have a shtick and act whatever, and it's another thing to go in and fight the number 5 ranked guy in the world who was a bad dude and do what he did to him tonight.
And for heavyweights as well, like over 300 strikes for heavyweights is a crazy pace as well. Can you explain to us how Josh ended up fighting or will fight Derek Lewis on the White House?
So what's crazy is, organically, about an hour before that, the president said to me, "Why is Derek Lewis not on the White House card?" I said, "I'll be back in 5 minutes." I went and called Derek Lewis, said the president wants to know why you're not on the White House card, and Derek Lewis said, "Politics." Politics kept me off the White House card. And I said, "Do you want to fight on the card?" And he said, "I absolutely want to fight on the card. Tell the president thank you." So then I told Mick Maynard, find a fight for Derek. Let's talk about it next week and whatever. Then the Hokit fight happens, and Joe Rogan, I had the headphones on, Joe Rogan goes, "Is there another slot open on the White House card for Hokit?" And I go, "Holy shit." So I grabbed Mick and I said, "Go back there and talk to see if he's in." And Hokit was getting into an ambulance and said yes.
Genuinely curious, why does Trump love Derek Lewis so much? Like Colby I get, Masvidal I get. Where did the Derek Lewis love come from for Donald Trump?
He's a fan. He likes Derek Lewis. He likes his personality. He likes the way he fights. I don't know. I mean, what makes us a fan of anybody, I don't know what it is, but the president loves Derek Lewis.
And you just said you won't criticize Josh for his character work, but if he's on the White House lawn saying some of this dumb shit, is any part of you going to be like, ah?
Yeah, probably. But then once he gets in the cage, we'll forget all about it.
Daniel, what was Donald Trump's reaction to that fight? Because, obviously...
Everybody was going crazy. I mean, everybody was going crazy. Everybody's saying it's one of the greatest heavyweight fights they've ever seen. Everybody on that side of the cage.
Co-main event, what did you make of Paolo's performance in there? Looked like he kind of just came out like a bat out of hell in the 3rd round for that finish.
Yeah. I mean, what an impressive win for him, too. The guy was 16-0 and very confident that he was going to beat Costa. And
what was he saying to the president? Because it looked like they were having a conversation right next to him.
He was telling him how much he admires him and, yeah.
Cub Swanson, big win in his final fight. What did you make of his, victory, perfect send-off and everything?
Holy shit. I mean, you couldn't script it any better than that, especially against a tough kid like Landwehr. I mean, that kid is tough, durable, and loves to fight like that. When, you hit him with 3, he'll hit you with 4 type thing. He couldn't handle Cub tonight. It was pretty impressive.
I don't know if you were ringside for it yet, but did you happen to see Aaron Pico's performance in there? It seems like the broadcast just gave him glowing reviews for his first UFC win.
The broadcast was what?
Loved Aaron Pico's performance. first big. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah, no, I was in the back with the president, but yeah, we saw it on TV.
Dana,
Yeah.
overall, is Miami becoming like an annual stop? Like, can we expect every year to be so far so good? But
I've had a blast here this week, so yeah. Fights were great. The crowd's incredible. I mean, the crowd was losing their mind during some of those fights, and yeah, it's always a great place to come.
I know you're not one to reminisce on things, but we are like here casually talking about, fights at the White House, this and that. But have you had a second to sit down and just kind of think like we're actually going to host an event, promote an event at the White House?
Yeah. The deeper we get into it, yes. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's even crazy that the president's like, it's crazy we're going to do this fight in the White House lawn.
When you were hosting UFC events at the Taj Mahal with Trump, what would have been more crazy in 2001? If somebody told you that Donald Trump was going to be president, or that the UFC was going to go to the White House?
Both. I've been doing a lot of interviews this week with like big mainstream outlets, and I was talking about it yesterday. They say, could you have ever imagined? Well, no. I mean, you don't ever. I had always believed in the brand and in the sport, and that I thought it could be big, but you don't think of stuff like that. I mean, we deal with world leaders all the time, rulers of countries, presidents, and all these different political figures from around the world. It's pretty crazy what the sport of fighting will get you in the middle of.
And obviously, politics is very polarizing. Was there ever hesitancy or consideration of perhaps like, having an event at the White House and maybe a certain part of the fan base that is not lenient to those politics or the administration?
Yeah, I don't think like that. It's not like I'm out here saying. I mean, even if you look at any of my speeches at the Republican convention, they're never political. I'm never talking about one side or the other side. This guy is a very good friend of mine, and that's it.
Thank you.
And he's a big fan of the sport.
Hey, Dana, right here. You mentioned Josh Hokit getting put in the ambulance. We didn't get the chance to talk to him because he was transported. Do you have any medical
They both
update?
got transported, yeah.
Do you have any medical update? Are you concerned at all that he might have broke his hand or something that would force him out of the White House?
That would absolutely suck, and believe me, I would have heard it already. Yeah, no. I haven't heard anything bad. I don't think we've heard anything good yet either. So
Okay. You announced on the broadcast tonight that I think everybody thought it was inevitable at some point, but Gable Stevenson is on your roster now, debuting at International Fight Week. What do you think the ceiling is for him? I guess, how do you handle him, right? He's a hot prospect. Do you kind of take it step by step? Is he somebody you think can move up the ladder pretty quickly? What do you kind of see the path being?
yeah, I think you get him in the UFC. Everybody has those UFC jitters when they first get here. You give them a fight that there's no easy fights here, but we'll see how he does.
No opponent for him yet?
No.
One other one. Conor McGregor, anything new with him?
Same old. Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Dana, over here.
Yep.
Speaking of Conor Ben fought today. He won a unanimous decision. Did you get a chance to check out his performance?
Yeah, I watched the fight.
What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I think he dominated.
And one more question for me. I know in the crowd they showed Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison. Seems like Kayla's getting back into training. Do we have any updates on like when that fight could be made?
No, we're gonna have to see how she progresses and how she feels. And once we think, let me tell you what you don't want coming off that surgery. You don't want Amanda Nunes grabbing your head and pulling you around by your neck. So let's make sure she's 100% healed, and then we'll make that fight.
Fair enough. Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Dana, just
Yeah.
a quick one. Mateusz Gamrot has been telling that he needed a dominant win, a staple, for some time, and tonight's win was that kind of a staple. And he has some big names in his mind, like Paddy Pimblett, Benoit Saint-Denis. Do you think that with that kind of win, we can get this in his next bout?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
There you go.
Unbelievably, I can hear you.
Yeah. Gamrot was saying that he needs a big staple win to get some of the bigger names in the division, such as Benoit Saint-Denis and Paddy Pimblett. With the win like today, do you think he's getting close to getting a fight against big names like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, and would you tell that lightweight is the hardest division in terms of how you need finishes, big wins like this to get bigger names because of the stars on the roster.
Would you say that the lightweight is the hardest division to move up and get big names and fight big names because the roster is so deep? So in order to get...
It's definitely one of them. It's definitely one of them, yeah. I mean, from champion to 10 is nasty, so yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, right over here.
Yeah.
John Jones says that watching UFC 327 lit a fire in him to compete, and now he's potentially not retired. He's not committing to it. Have you talked to him at all about anything, or no?
No. And listen, how is that any different than John's been in the last 10 years? You know what I mean? The way I always looked at, I used to tell Lorenzo, you'll never be able to build a business with this guy. But when he does show up, it's fun.
There was a lot of shifts happening at light heavyweight tonight. Just what were your thoughts overall on the division, and where do you take it going forward, considering, you know, Paulo Costa is now going to be ranked at light heavyweight. Ulberg's your champion, but might be hurt. Where do you go with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You know, when you have a guy like, the thing with a guy like Costa is he comes in and he tries to knock people out, and huge, massive win for him tonight. I mean, this might be the biggest win of his career tonight. He beat an undefeated 16-0 guy who was absolutely confident he was going to beat Costa, and he looked good, did it impressively, and like you said, it sets him up for a lot of fun fights.
Dana over here.
Yep.
Just one from me. With this fight with Derek Lewis and Josh Hokit, is there any? It's all set with the White House card, or is there any chance that another fight could be added to the card?
Is there, other than that fight, is there any chance that any more fights could be added? No.
Yeah, it's all set.
I shouldn't have done this one. But when the president looks at you and says, why is Derek Lewis not on the card? Huh? You put Derek Lewis on the card immediately. Yeah. Unless he calls me and tells me to do something else, there will be no more fights added to the card.
Yeah, maybe another name that he could be interested on.
What's that?
Maybe another name that he likes, another name he's interested in seeing on that
I
card.
certainly hope not.
Thank you.
But anything is possible. Yes.
So since you've had such a blast here in Miami, is there any way that you're going to do an Orlando card 3 hours away?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I wouldn't say no. We could absolutely do a card in Orlando. So that's a absolutely we would do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana.
Yes, sir.
Jorge Masvidal says he has something going on with the UFC. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, no, we have no fights for him right now. We have nothing done with him.
Okay.
He's talking to us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Was Colby ever in the running to be in the UFC White House? He seemed a bit upset, and obviously he's been a big supporter.
Yeah, of course. There's the whole. Listen, every time you hear something publicly from these guys, and oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, always remember this. This is common sense. We have to get these guys 3 fights a year. If we don't, we have to pay them, even if they don't fight. We're always offering guys fights, and you know, if he didn't make it on the White House card, there's absolutely positively a reason.
Dana, when you say that, does that just mean like, so let's say John Jones, for example, right? Does that just mean you offer him an opponent, potential guy, and he just says no, or is that his management turns it down for him?
There are a lot of different reasons that it could not happen, but yeah. What we don't do is just fuck guys over and just let them sit around and no, we're not going to give you a fight. The exact opposite. We're doing 44 cards a year. People fall out all the time, and, you know, the list goes on and on. Everybody's being offered fights.
This is a bit of a random question, but did you hear that when Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul, Tito Ortiz apparently called Lorenzo to try and get your boxing match with Tito back on? Did you ever hear that?
When what happened?
When Jake Paul and Mike Tyson boxed, right? Apparently Tito Ortiz called Lorenzo to try and get your boxing match with Tito back on.
You know what? I think Lorenzo did say something like that. Yeah. I'm 56 years old. I'm going to be 57 in July. I fight to get out of bed every day, okay? But, yeah. I vaguely remember something like that. I think so.
Eddie Hearn, you know, Tito Ortiz, you're a guy very much in demand. You could get on the White House card if you wanted.
Well, Tito's dumb as hell, but Tito's not a pussy. Eddie Hearn's a pussy. Eddie Hearn ain't boxing anybody. Fucking posting pictures of himself hitting the fucking speed bag. It looks like it's in slow motion. Yeah, Eddie Hearn. And let me tell you what, if that did happen, me and Eddie Hearn are bums. We would be the first fight of the night. These guys are talking like we're going to headline some fucking card or some shit like that. Bums, okay? Whoever was talented on that card should be insulted if he and I were anywhere near any other slot other than the first fight of the night, and it shouldn't even be on TV.
Hasn't tried to do it.
Yeah.
Has he?
You don't think Turkey would try to do that fight?
Did Turkey make you an offer?
Of course they did. Yeah. People are throwing offers around everywhere. Yeah.
That'd be big on Netflix.
Huh?
It would be big on Netflix.
Yeah, probably.
Dan over here.
Yeah.
I know you're not matchmaking yet, so I'm not asking that, but I'm just asking your opinion. Just with the history of City Kickboxing and Alex Pereira, would you be interested someday in an Ulberg-Pereira fight?
Ulberg, yeah, of course.
Any insight into how you think that might go down, just with two high-level kickboxers and Ulberg being teammates with Izzy with their history?
Well, we got to find out what happens at the White House. You know what I mean? So when you say, I know you don't want to matchmake, but what if when you talk about what ifs, they're not even worth talking about until everything plays out. You know what I mean? It's like when people shit on a card, like this card sucks. The fuck are you talking about? It's Thursday. Saturday night at midnight, tell me the card sucked. You can't plan or think about any of that type of stuff until it plays out. Even the guy, some guy at the press conference the other day was asking me a question about what would happen to, I don't remember who it was, but it's like, the fight's in 2 days. I mean, why would we even waste our breath talking about that until we see how the fight plays out? We good?
One last one real quick. Is
Yep.
Zhang Weili coming back to 115? And I ask because Tatiana Suarez got a big win. And
What's the question?
Is Zhang Weili coming back to 115?
No, don't do it. Huh? She's going to Macau. Yeah. Macau.
We'll wait till then.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah? Have a great night, you guys. Thank you. And thanks, Miami. I had a blast here.